Early in the morning, if it happens, you get up and try to observe the wonderful scientist working in the laboratory sincerely with lots of dedication, motivation, inspiration, and lots of love and affection towards their children. Undoubtedly, I'm talking about the wonderful woman in the world called Mother, Amma. She wakes up early in the morning by 4:30 or so, then starts doing all the things. Before doing all the things, she does a wonderful thing. Immediately when she wakes up, she opens all the doors of kitchen first without switching on any lights. Remember this point. Without switching on any lights, she is going to open all the doors and windows. This is what we call in chemistry as safety. Boom! Do's and don'ts in a chemistry lab. This is my video for today. So whenever mother is going to start working in her laboratory called kitchen, she first wakes up and opens all the doors and windows, because if any traces of fuel, that is LPG, left over may cause a problem. So she immediately opens everything and let the leftover fuel or any unwanted thing had happened that goes out. Then after few seconds, she switches on the lights and the exhaust. Then she starts doing her work. How beautifully she manages everything, she wonderful to see. Hence I always call every home is the best university and every mother is the first teacher. It's not my words, it is from a textbook. I'm sorry to forget that. So every home is the university and every mother is the first teacher and every kitchen is the laboratory. Especially the laboratory where chemicals are being used. In kitchen we use many chemicals, say for example salt, sodium chloride, sugar, C6H12O6. We use milk is a colloid, a protein in water. We use vegetables. Most of the vegetables, they contain vitamins, then fiber. If you are non-vegetarian, we'll be using mutton, chicken, it's protein. And in most of the dishes, mother is going to use lots of spices like cloves, cumin, mustard, then elaichi, everything, cardamom. All these contains wonderful chemical components which are medicinally valued, and moreover we will be using turmeric. All these are chemicals only. Above all, the wonderful chemical is water. So please accept this statement and please thank her, because she is a wonderful chemist. Whenever you observe her, she is very calm, cool, concentrated, and her entire concentration will be there on the work only. She never turn from that or this side, because she is going to do experiments. Boom! If you care for nature, it reciprocates. That's what we are exactly facing. We trouble nature, nature is going to punish us. The same with chemistry. If you respect chemistry, in turn chemistry respects you. If you follow the rules and regulations, safety precautions, everything in a laboratory that was instructed by your teacher, in turn chemistry is beautiful, awesome. If you don't follow, let's see. Observe the first top right diagram where a wonderful student working with chemical laboratory without any safety measures, without any precautions. In the bottom diagram, the school child without the supervision of his teacher, though he was taking all precautions and every aspect of chemistry has been utilized, without the teacher he made it an explosion. Again, boom. Now my self experience with chemistry I'm going to show you all. It's not a tattoo, dear. It's not a tattoo. We are doing a research in our laboratory with my students. We are doing with concentrated sulfuric acid in boiling condition. I wear goggles, gloves, everything. But what had happened, I had a doubt that concentrated sulfuric acid is going to spill out. So I placed my hand against the eyes of my student. It spilled over on my hand. You can see a wonderful tattoo there. It's the beauty of chemistry. You have to be extremely cautious. You have to be very, very careful while doing experiments with chemistry. My self experience with chemistry is this. So, what are the do's in chemistry lab? Wear eye protection, very careful. Wear a laboratory coat, we call it as apron. Wear suitable footwear. Tie long hair back. If girls are doing the experiments, please tie your long hair back. Wear appropriate clothing. Jewelry is always avoided. Follow good hand hygiene protocols. After completion of the experiment, wash your hands properly. Ensure that all gas pipes, electrical instruments were properly switched off. So again, going back to Amma. When she wakes up, she first opens all the doors and windows, then verifies, then switches on the light and exhaust. Whenever she completes her work with any electrical instruments, immediately she switches off all the instruments like mixer, grinder, microwave, everything. And if you can observe, she washes her hand first, then washes all the vegetables, then cuts it into appropriate required quantities. Then after cooking, she again washes her hands because she's feeding. The same thing in a laboratory, because any contamination will cause a drastic disaster. What are the don'ts? In the chemistry laboratory, you should never eat, you should never drink, you should not smoke and apply cosmetics. Do not close the doors and windows of the laboratory when you are working. Please open all the doors and windows and let the fumes any come that go out. Before carrying out any laboratory work, make sure that you are familiar with the experiment you are performing. Please go through the experimental procedure that was given to you, maybe in your manual, maybe through textbooks, maybe through internet. You know how to use all the required equipment, glassware, chemicals, etc. correctly and safely. You have to know this. You have to make use of proper handling of chemicals and glasswares. Then you must be aware of hazards associated with the chemicals being used, which is what we call as MSDS, material safety data sheet. So for every chemical starting from water to the carcinogenic chemical, we have MSDS. You have to read the MSDS first. You have to read it. What does MSDS consist? Material safety data sheet contains all the details, the physical properties, chemical properties, toxicity levels, safety symbols, its catalog number. Then if any spill is there with the chemical, what care to be taken, how to dispose the chemical. This is very important. Disposal of chemicals is extremely important when comes for chemical laboratories. I hope you have seen all these bottles and chemical boxes in your laboratory. All these contain wonderful symbols. What does these symbols mean? These symbols are called as safety symbols. Let's have a look at the safety symbols. So the first one, cross mark, harmful or irritant. The second one, tick mark, low hazard. The third one, flammable. The fourth one with a skull symbol, toxic. The fifth one is narcotic, like drugs. Second row, first one oxidizing, second one lachrymatory. Lachrymatory means we start crying. Whenever we inhale that particular chemical, we start crying. Carcinogenic, which causes cancer. Dangerous when wet. For example, sodium metal. Sodium metal, when exposed to water, it explodes. So such substances are dangerous when they are wet. Radioactive, gases under pressure. Corrosive, dangerous to environment. Explosive. These are only some safety symbols I have collected from some source. You can get more and more data. Besides this, if you have any problem or any unwanted situation arise in a laboratory, don't get panic. See, while chopping, if a finger cuts for Amma, she can't get panic. She's as cool as possible and she just opens the turmeric dabba and places it there. Even you don't know that there is an injury for Amma. She never gets panic. Just applies turmeric. You cannot apply turmeric in a chemistry laboratory. My intention is that you should not get panic. Just be cool. If acid falls on you or skin, Wash it thoroughly on tap water. If it spills into ice, purge water into ice. Don't get panic. Your teacher knows what first aid to be taken care, and your first aid measures will be there in your laboratory. Just go through once. Nothing will happen. If something is problematic, your teacher will just guide you to the medical supervision. Don't worry, everything will be fine. So if you do all the things like wearing apron, wearing goggles, eye protection, gloves, and if you follow the instructions of the teacher as shown in the first figure, chemistry always reciprocates the wonderful awesome results to you, and you will be an achiever.